guys, it's what's going on? It's Katsumoto. So, is my mic hooked up? My mic is hooked up. My mic sounds sweet. So the question is it possible to acquire pitch accent naturally, and does it even matter? So that's two questions. Does it matter? Yeah, of course it matters. Is it possible to acquire it naturally? Of course it is. I mostly acquired it naturally. I have done some a tiny bit of like conscious corrections on but of course it is, and it's just of course it is, and it's part of a wider thing. It's just part of pronunciation, right? So to isolate that one part of pronunciation and focus so much on that, I mean, just fix your you want to have you're gonna have prosody, rhythm, everything else, right? Is also a part of is also a part of pronunciation, right? In fact, I guess you could say pitch accent arguably is a part of prosody, whatever. But you know, it's just one of these elements in pronunciation, right? And so yeah, sure, human beings are machines for picking up things like that. Now, the only question, of course, it's possible. And then the only question becomes, well, so how would you do it? And again, I would do it with imitation and reflection, feedback, right? It's just kind of like, it's like, how do you learn how to make faces? How do you learn how to make faces in a mirror, or to look better when you're speaking to people? It would be just, you'd stand in front of a mirror and watch yourself speaking, and see see how you move, how you handle your face, your hands, what your gestures are like, right? Same thing. So recordings of yourself are a way of holding up an aural, and as opposed to a visual, an oral mirror to yourself, right? With sight we have mirrors. When it comes to sound and hearing, we need recordings of ourselves. We need to shut up and hear ourselves, right? Because otherwise, the only other time you get to hear yourself is when you're speaking, and plus it sounds different coming out of your mouth as opposed to being filtered by your skin. You're gonna sound different. The way you sound to yourself when speaking is not the way you actually sounded who in front of your mouth. So yeah, hold up a mirror to yourself, get that feedback about what you sound like, and then fix things. I'd focus at any given time. You want to focus on one thing at a time, right? So one of the things I find, for example, a lot of people, when you have doubled consonants, like instead of ita you have ita, like I find a lot of people, JSL people get a bit lazy on that, right? So they'll say, I don't know, instead of saying itekita, they'll be like itekita, right? And so they won't double up the little tsu. They won't double up the consonants properly. That's something to fix, right? I don't know how Ben Franklin you want to go on this, but Ben Franklin, had this thing where he picked, like, I think, was it 7 or 12 or 14 good characteristics he wanted to embody, and he spent like frugality, honesty, good posture, whatever, and then he'd spend 1 week at a time just focusing on that one thing he wanted to improve about himself, and then loop back, right? And then eventually, good character of banging French hoes. But really though, French hoes are great at that time. But 18th century French courtesans. So what were we talking about? But we were talking about pitch accent. Yeah, just improve your pronunciation in general, work on your pronunciation in general, and that will come with that. It's like again, it comes back to, like, do you take supplements or do you eat real food? I would say eat real food and take a tiny bit of supplement, but don't be like, well, I'm gonna eat crap food but fix it with supplements, right? I mean, there are people who think that. They'll be like, I'll just eat crap and fix the rest with supplements. And I'm like, yeah, that's not how it works, bro. So like I said, focus mostly on just the overall thing of your pronunciation, the overall act of imitating native speaker, preferably one native speaker who you're really into, and whose recordings you can get, you have a lot of access to, right? Again, in my case, it was Nagase. I did sound like him a lot. I don't sound like him so much anymore, but I've been accused of talking like the kind of characters he played. So like in Idol.